experienced real estate investor, you might have even asked yourself at some point, what's a real estate short sale and other advantages to, as an investor, me getting involved? The simple answer is a short sale is ultimately a homeowner that's gotten themselves in a bind. They owe more for their home than what it's currently marketed for, and that they need to put it up for sale. Their short sale mortgage is said to be underwater, is the term that they use. And if they can secure a buyer, they're going to have to get the bank to approve selling the home for less than what's owed on it. Today, we're going to talk about this. This is a difficult topic for a lot of people. This is typically a scenario where a potential client has gotten themselves into a real difficult financial alignment, and it's going to cost them their home to get out of it. But we're going to talk about this very unique sales process, the legal considerations behind it, where you're going to find short sellable properties as a real estate agent, and tips on how to be successful in doing it, not just as an investor or as a real estate agent on how you can help these people, but how you can do the very, very best representation for these clients. So what happens in real estate short sale? A real estate short sale is going to occur when a homeowner, again, has got to sell their property for less than what's actually owed as the outstanding balance with their lender's approval only. Typically, this has been initiated because there's some type of financial distress. A short sale is going to require a lot of negotiation strategies with not only the client and not only the potential buyers, but with the sellers. And this will take longer than a normal transaction. While the homeowner is probably trying to avoid foreclosure, the process itself can have some serious credit implications, potential tax consequences as well. The lender is most likely going to report the short sale on their credit bureau. The homeowner is going to have to pay income tax on the difference between the purchase price and the unpaid mortgage balances, and therefore knowing the market conditions and the regulations surrounding a short sale is going to be essential for the real estate investors and agents to even be involved. So let's talk about some differences first between a short sale versus a foreclosure, because they're close enough, but I don't want people to get confused. The primary difference between these two really lies in the homeowner's involvement. In a short sale, the homeowner is the one that is still selling the property to avoid foreclosure. Foreclosure is a legal process that's initiated when the lender needs to repossess a property due to non-payment. Short sale gives homeowners some control, while foreclosure results in a total property loss. So short sale can coincide with a pre-foreclosure motion that's happening with the bank, meaning the bank is letting the client get the amount of time necessary to either get completely caught up or sell their property before it becomes a complete repossession that would be documented on their credit bureau. A short sale can coincide with these pre-foreclosure actions, and then the sellers received some type of notification saying that it is pending foreclosure. And this is where we're going to discuss on how you get eyesight and visibility into whether this kind of thing is coming. A lot of sellers price their home for sale based on what they owe so that they can simply cover the closing expenses. But these homes are often advertised as motivated sellers or state that they're in pre-foreclosure or in a short sale scenario. These types of sales are going to provide an opportunity to get a really good deal on the home more often than not. But please be conscious. You are dealing with someone that is in a very difficult and pressured mental state as well as a financial state. So you need to be intelligent in the way that you're talking with them and have the empathy necessary to be tolerant for what average person would be considered a bunch of excuses or thinking that somebody's, didn't make good decisions or whatever. With the amount of job loss and percentages of unemployment that have happened throughout the United States over the last 4 years, I can tell you that this is going to become more and more common, especially in the last year, and where people have bought homes at the highest interest rates that we have seen in a very long time. Now taxes and insurance compile on top of that with their increasing rates. It's going to be difficult for people to be able to pay their note, and ultimately they're going to be in a position of distress. Short sales come with a lot of legal considerations. So you must absolutely consult with a legal professional while you're involved in this, and it's going to be essential for all parties involved to avoid some pitfalls. Investors need to be very cautious of anti-flipping regulations and potential tax implications like capital gains tax or taxable income events in the forgiven debt, and ensure that the contract with their lender is going to allow for flexibility for potential delays. They must be mindful of how this impacts the interest rates and the terms of the property that they're going to be purchasing. Obtaining that clear title is going to be critical. So the investors and the real estate agents need to make absolutely sure that they are conducting comprehensive research and the due diligence phase. Inspect the property's condition, the title condition, any existing liens or encumbrances. Make absolutely sure that you run a local health check on the home as well. Complete inspection and title search is going to ensure that nothing is going to be inheritable as an existing problem by the future buyer. Any clouds on the title, such as outstanding liens or legal disputes, is going to pose a challenge, and there are things that you need to consider to make sure that you're able to get everything cleaned up. There's seller legal considerations, so you got to keep the lender informed of the process, submit the prompt documentation, keep a timeline, so if there's any type of slip, they know what's happening. You need to be able to disclose any material defects of the property. You need to make sure that you've got a lawyer on hand so that you can get advice for possible deficiency judgments that may exist as well. Typically, if people go as far as to lose their homes, there's a lot of other complications that have piled up ahead of that might be on a wave about to hit the property too. You also need to be able to disclose potential risks of the short sale to the buyers that are coming down the pipeline to potentially invest in the property. Buyer legal considerations are things that you need to take into account as well. You've got to conduct the due diligence on title and property condition with inspections and the title searches. You got to make sure to negotiate your purchase price terms to ensure the agreement will address the lender approval. Ultimately, the lender, the bank, they've all got to agree to selling the property for less than is owed. So there's a lot of legal counsel that is going to be involved, and a lot of things that are going on in the market may affect their ability to give you a quick decision. Ensure the buyer financing can sustain a lengthy process. So unless the buyer is buying it cash and they are willing to be flexible, if they've got an investment bank on the line with them, you want to make sure to have a consistent three-way call with them to tell them the status of the process and how things are moving along. Do short sales work for investors, and how? Short sale homes are a lot more involved than a traditional home sale. A lot of people have the impression that, hey, there are some short sales or there are foreclosures coming. I can get a good deal on this. Where that is true, it requires a lot of patience, coordination, and a thorough understanding of the process, and challenges mount fast when it comes to this type of property purchase. A seller has to maximize the seller's home value, while the buyer or the investor may seek an opportunity for deep discounts. Suppose you work with a real estate agent to buy and sell a short sale. In that case, the agent's role is going to be to bring the buyer and the seller together, understanding what they're ultimately up against, so that they can make sure that the buyer's offer meets the bank's requirements so they can even get it accepted to get under contract. The seller of the property is not going to be able to just sign off on the sale by themselves. It must have a segregated bank approval, and that has to be attached to the entire process. So what are the requirements for the sellers to get the short sale completed? Homeowner has to know how to initiate a short sale with the bank. So before even listing the home, must have a conversation for the potential short sale with the bank that currently owns the lien on the home. The seller has to prepare and provide the documentation showing that they are in a financial need, what they call hardship. They're going to need to be asked that they have no other resources to be able to cover missed payments, fees, or the remaining mortgage balance if the home sells below what's owed. Obviously, as a real estate agent, your job would be to still maximize the opportunity of the pricing of the home based on what the market is doing in the surrounding area. Do not overprice, especially in this situation, and do not be overly patient expecting a bunch of people to get involved in a home that may even be in disrepair. Let me give you a quick list of information that a lender might require from the seller before even agreeing to the short sale. They've got to adequately prove that there is a hardship with a hardship letter and the evidence to support the excuse. Copy of the purchase agreement, if applicable, showing that someone is willing to buy the home and what they're willing to buy the home for. Most recent tax returns, pay stubs from the borrower if those exist, bank retirement accounts, etc., other real estate owned, students, cars, personal loans, all of those types of things have to be disclosed. If there's any credit cards with remaining balances, full budgeting worksheet, and you've got to, as a real estate agent, you've got to run a comprehensive market analysis against this property to show that you're not just lowballing the price by bringing the first buyer that you can get in front. This may and will also affect the amount of commission that you can negotiate.